Happy holidays, everyone! It's Shannon, and welcome to the Cozy Christmas Cottage. Today, we're diving into 25 of the absolute best Christmas crafts using supplies from Dollar Tree. We're gonna grab some Jingle Bells. These are sort of a medium size. You can use whatever size and color that you want, though. You'll also need some faux leather. You can get this at Hobby Lobby for only $4.99, or wait till it goes 50% off, and obviously you can get it for only $2.50. You'll need some jute, scissors, and also a large yarn needle. We're gonna make a Jingle Bell door hanger, or it also becomes a really cute decorative piece too if you don't put it on a door. And to do that, we're gonna cut about 18 inches of length of our faux leather, take some hot glue, put it on one end, and then you'll fold that over to leave sort of a loop on the end. We're going to be adding some jute through that loop. You just want to make sure it's big enough that you can fit that through. Now on the other end, we're going to flip that over and we're going to take our scissors and we're going to round that end off. Using some regular scissors works great for this. It's pretty easy to cut through. This is going to be the bottom of our Jingle Bell holder, so this just kind of makes it look nice and finished. Now in comes our Jingle Bells. You want to lay them out onto your leather to decide how many that you want. I'm going to be adding 4 to mine, and it does take a little bit of some cutting with your scissors to cut 2 holes in your leather for each Jingle Bell. So you're going to put some jute on your needle, feed it from the back to the front side of your leather, add your Jingle Bell on there, and then feed it back to the back side. And at this point, you can take your needle off and just tie a knot so that way it pulls it on tight and keeps your Jingle Bell secured. If you're not yet, you can find the Cozy Christmas Cottage on Instagram. I will link that down in the description box below. Make sure to come over because soon we will be counting down the days till Christmas over there, and that is such a fun thing to do this time of year. We're going to continue with this project, just feeding our Jingle Bells onto that faux leather with our yarn needle and then adding some knots in the back to secure them. Definitely cut off those extra tails that are hanging on the backside, and then use your jute as well to feed through that top loop so you can make this hangable. You can add these to the insides of your doors, which makes a really pretty Jingle Bell sound every time you open and close the door. This also makes a really cute wall hanging or accessory to add to your Christmas decor. Another great idea for this would be to actually attach these onto your front door wreath so you get that pretty Jingle Bell sound again every time you open and close your door. Next up, we're going to make a Jingle Bell garland that is so inexpensive, quick, and easy to make. We're going to use some macrame cord for the actual garland, and then you'll need a smaller jute or cord that is going to fit through the holes in your Jingle Bells so we can tie those bells onto the actual garland. So I just cut some small little strips of this twine and then took my macrame cord over to the area where I wanted to hang my garland so I could size that macrame cord down and then cut that down to size. Then it's really easy to add our Jingle Bells on here. We're going to take that smaller twine and feed it through the hole of the Jingle Bell, and then we're going to take that string and tie that onto the macrame cord. And it's also really helpful if you fold your macrame cord in half so you have a middle starting point. You do want to tie these on sort of loosely, not super duper tight, so that way you have some movement in there. And once you get your garland hung up, then you can arrange your Jingle Bells so they're more centered and evenly spaced. Definitely cut off any excess tails that are hanging off from the top. And then here is a look at our first Jingle Bell, and we're just going to work side to side adding these on. Now we need to attach our garland onto our surface. These are great removable hooks that you can also find from Dollar Tree that are clear, and obviously removable means that you can put them up and take them down after the Christmas holiday without damaging your furniture, which I love. So we're going to put these backwards because we're going to tie a knot, and then these are going to hang from the front. So just tying one side onto one hook and then tying the other side onto the other hook, just making sure I'm sort of leveling and evening everything out before I tie those knots tight. So I added mine onto the front of this console table, but this would be great on the front of a fireplace or mantle, or you could even use this as garland to decorate your Christmas tree. As soon as I saw these triangle signs at Dollar Tree, I instantly thought Christmas trees. That's what we're going to turn ours into. We're also going to add some special accent pieces to it too. We're going to use some painter's tape to tape off the outside edges. This one was sort of a toned down pastel green color, and I want it to be a little bit more like an evergreen color, so that's why we're doing this. You of course can paint yours whatever color or leave it as is if you can find the specific one. Just going around all those edges with the painter's tape and then coming in with some acrylic paint, giving it a couple coats to turn it a darker green. Once it's dry, you can remove all that painter's tape, and then we're going to come in with these really pretty red jingle bells, also from Dollar Tree. We're going to use some hot glue and start arranging these in a triangle pattern, starting at the top for the very point, and then sort of offsetting them as we go down, creating rows. And then to make this look like more of a Christmas tree, I just set it on a wood block, which you can also find at Dollar Tree, to give it its trunk and base. This is such an easy project, one that I think anyone can do. Dollar Tree also carries some great shadow boxes, and this one is just gorgeous by itself, but I wanted to turn it into one that looks more Christmassy, so we're going to add some jingle bells to this. But before we do that, we are going to give it more of a Christmassy look. So this is a decal that I cut out that says Jingle all the way, y'all. And we're going to add that to the inside of our frame. This is just a matte black vinyl. I will make sure to link any of the supplies that I'm using in today's video down in the description box, so it makes it easy for you to find if you're looking for the similar things. So I did dismantle this shadow box and then added the vinyl decal onto the front glass so that was visible. We put that back in the frame, and then you can add a background. So this is just some regular scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby that I had on hand. I traced that to fit to the inside backing of the shadow box. Super easy to just cut this out and then glue it on. Now we're going to toss some smaller jingle bells into the backing and then replace the frame right back onto the front. Now we have a fun little box that also is fun because it jingles. It also helps to add some hot glue around the edges to make sure it does not come back apart. So cute that you could add this into a tiered tray, onto a side table, next to your Christmas tree, on a mantle. So many fun different ways, and I think little ones would have fun shaking these boxes too. These white jingle bells have been around for years and are still my absolute favorite ornament that Dollar Tree carries. We're going to do a really simple update to this that makes it a little bit more high-end looking. It's just as easy as tying on your own ribbon to these ornaments to match your theme and decor. You could also paint these ornaments. You could remove the greenery off the top too. Just turn it into one that has more of your style. They're really pretty by themselves, but just taking it up a little bit of a notch makes them custom looking. You can also find these larger ornaments at Hobby Lobby and do a similar look if you can't find these at Dollar Tree. Same thing, we're just going to add some jute on the tops of these bells to make a hanger so they'll hang from our Christmas tree. And then you can add your own greenery to the tops of these if that's your style. This is just greenery again from Hobby Lobby, adding the same ribbon, which I believe is also from Hobby Lobby. And that way you still have the same look, even if you can't find these exact things from Dollar Tree. It's always great whenever you can take something from another holiday and season that you didn't use in your decor or crafting and use them for the next season and holiday. And these tall signs from Dollar Tree are a perfect example. So it might have been Halloween on the back side, but the front side, which is going to become the front side now, we're going to turn into a snowman for Christmas time. So I want mine to look a little bit rustic, so I just did one coat of chalk paint, sort of leaving some of that background showing through so it looks more like weathered wood. And then we are going to take some black chalk paint and paint 2 paint stir sticks. These we're going to use for his hat. We're also going to take the same black paint and we're going to paint about 1/3, maybe a quarter of the top of this sign. That's going to be the top of his hat. And then once everything is dry, you can hot glue on those paint stir sticks at an angle, at a diagonal, so that makes the brim of his hat. Now to give him some style and personality, this is some fleece from a Dollar Tree scarf that I cut down, tied around his neck, and then just took my scissors and cut some slits at the bottom so it had that scarf look. Tied that on. It doesn't hurt to add a little hot glue there too. And then you can take some paint pens to give him his face. Again, I'll make sure to link these down in the description box. These are great for lots of Christmas projects. And some orange for his carrot nose. Also adding some buttons on the bottom, but you could even use real buttons too and hot glue those on. I do recommend using these for an indoor decor piece. Like you can see, they are so cute next to a fireplace or by a front door, but they are made of more of like a cardboard chipboard material versus wood, so they won't withstand the outside elements. You could use wood though too if you preferred. This is another fun snowman project using a metal bucket from Dollar Tree. These are so cute to just add your own little painting onto. We're gonna create a snowy scene. As you can see, a little snowman and a snowy little yard there. And just using some chalk paint for this is really, really useful because it sticks onto pretty much any type of surface, so you know it's going to last and last on this metal, so you can use it year after year. So just painting that in with some white and then coming in with some other colors to create the detail of our little snowman. You can also add decals onto the fronts of these buckets. You can see this one says, "Let it snow." If you don't have a vinyl machine, you can always use a paint pen and write on your little saying by hand too. Then you can add whatever you want into these buckets. Obviously, some Christmas greenery looks really, really pretty. You could put a little Christmas tree in here or some cinnamon sticks, some pine cones, and this one you absolutely could use outside on your front porch as long as you seal that paint. Now we're gonna make a snowman ornament using inexpensive clothespins. We're gonna disassemble our clothespin, taking that metal part off, and we're gonna add some hot glue to one of the flat sides and then sandwich that in with the other flat side. And as you can see, this basically just makes our clothespin reversed. And you can see now we sort of have what looks like the start of a snowman. So we're gonna take our white chalk paint and paint this entire clothespin white. Then you can come in with a marker or some paint and add the little details and features of your snowman. And then to give him a scarf, we're going to use some regular grosgrain ribbon in a plaid print, but you can use whatever ribbon you have on hand. Just tie it in a knot a couple times around the top part, cut the ends at an angle, and then we're going to give him his little hook so we can hang him on the tree. These are the most fun Christmas ornament hooks I've found. You can find them at Walmart. They're even at Hobby Lobby, and they're only about $1, and you get so many of them. We're going to use the curly Q part and we're going to cut the other part off so we can attach the back of this onto the back of the snowman. This really gives it more of a high-end look, which I love, and a fancy look, and then it is so easy to use those hooks on your Christmas tree branches. Next, we're going to turn a canvas into a snowman, but these smaller canvases are from the craft store, but you can find larger canvases and make this in a bigger version with canvases from the Dollar Tree. I'm using some watercolor markers on the front of the canvas to give him his little face. I love the watercolor markers on canvas because it kind of has a translucent look. We're going to give him some earmuffs with a pipe cleaner that is a red and white candy stripe. And then for his earmuffs, we're going to use some pom-poms. This is another project that I feel like anyone can do, and it looks so cute set in a little vignette or added to a tiered tray. You can give so many different personalities to these snowmen so they each have their own design. This is another super easy snowman project that anybody can make. We're using a pillar candle from Dollar Tree, and we're going to use a black paint pen to give him some eyes, mouth, and some buttons on the front, and then an orange paint pen to give him his nose. Then you'll just let that dry all the way, and of course you can give these guys any kind of look and personality that you want. But we're also going to add a little scarf in here. This is a bandana from Dollar Tree. I just cut off a little section of that and tied it around. You could use ribbon or even scraps of fabric that you already have. Trim down the ends and add some little frayed slits in the bottom so it looks more like a scarf. Easy peasy. One extra little tip is you can use some foam dots, also found at Dollar Tree. This scarf went a little crazy. It didn't want to lay down for me, so we're going to use some of those foam dots to tack down the ends of the scarves so they stay. I love these little guys, not only because they're easy, but they are super cute too. These would be cute down the center of a dining room table, or if you need several, you can make these super quick and easy as gift ideas. I also love red trucks at Christmas time, and Dollar Tree carries these metal red trucks year-round. We're going to pair them with some wood beads and create our own red truck garland. And to do that, we need to remove the jute hangers that these come with. I'm going to be doing 3. It seemed to work out great for my mantle. And here's the little trick. If you take some acrylic paint and you pour that into a container, then you also can add a little tiny bit of water, mix that up so it dilutes your paint down. You can then use that paint to paint on this metal. And the reason we water it down is you can see that the trucks have some black details on it, and we didn't want to lose that. So if you water it down and you paint it on kind of thinly, you'll still see the details on the truck. And then if you have some spots that kind of go off where you don't want it and you go back in with a baby wipe, you can remove some of the bleed over before it dries. Now we have lots of this paint left over, and we're going to put that to good use. We're going to add our wood beads in there, and we're going to then cover these wood beads with that paint. You'll kind of just lay them out so that they can dry. It's an easy way to dye your beads. Once you have all of this painted and dried, we're going to string this all up with some regular jute. Just tie a loop onto one end. We're going to combine the red beads with some of the natural wood beads. So doing a red one, a neutral one, and then a red one. Tying a couple knots on the end there so they stay in place. And then we can add our red truck onto that section and then repeat this pattern until we get to the end. So this is a project you could leave plain just like this and it looks cute for Christmas time, but I also love that you probably make this interchangeable for different holidays and seasons by adding some Christmas trees to the backs of the trucks, pumpkins for fall time, maybe some Easter eggs for Easter, and so on. Great versatile project. This is another one I really love. We're going to use a Dollar Tree mason jar and also one of the little red trucks that came during the spring season in their fairy gardens. You could also find a red truck at Walmart in their Hot Wheels section or order them online. We're going to make a little snow globe scene with this truck from Dollar Tree, adding a Dollar Tree miniature Christmas tree to the back and hot gluing that in. We're also going to add some Epsom salt into the bottom there for the snowiness, add the lid back on top, and then these are some wood blocks you can also get from Dollar Tree to make this thing stay up and not roll around. So we're adding some hot glue on there, making its own little stand. And this is just a cute little decorative piece that you can make super quick and easy too. This is a really cute and fun red truck ornament we're going to make with 6 popsicle sticks. So we're going to start with 2 full-sized popsicle sticks that are going to be offset just a little bit in the middle. Then we're going to take 2 sticks, cut those the same length. You want to cut about 1/3 of the top off. And then we're going to hot glue those on to the front towards one end so that we can make sort of the cab of our red truck. The bottom pieces at the bottom, we are going to turn those into tires here in a second. Our next piece, we're going to cut a small tiny piece to go at the top, and that's going to close off and make the roof of our cab. And then we need one more tiny piece, which we want the rounded end of to create the tailgate of our truck. Then of course we're going to come in and we are going to paint our truck red using some red chalk paint. I think I used what was left over from the last project with the garland, so it's a little bit toned down a little bit, makes it a little more rustic. Then for tires, we're going to use some buttons. Now I didn't have black buttons, but I had yellow buttons, so I just painted those black to make what I had on hand work and gluing those onto the bottom. To make the hanger, I'm using some red and white baker's twine. I love this stuff for Christmas time, for decorating, for card making, and of course for ornaments. So I'll make sure to link this down in the description box below too. And last but not least, adding another mini tree from Dollar Tree to the back. So here's the simple and basic red truck popsicle stick ornament, but I think this would be so cute too if you added a little picture in the cab of the truck too. Keep your eye out for these great truck clips that you can get during the fall time at Dollar Tree. Now, of course, these have pumpkins in the back, but we're going to paint this up or color it in to look more Christmassy using some paint pens. And instead of painting the pumpkins orange, we're going to turn those green and then add some red polka dots. So it looks more like maybe wreaths in the truck than it does look like pumpkins. Then these are great to add as accessories onto your gifts. Really easy to add some ribbon on there and then clip these right to the center. A cute and easy decorative piece for your gifts that makes them extra special. This is another fall item you want to keep your eye out for during the fall time. It's red trucks, but they have pumpkins and some greenery in the back, and they're super easy to dismantle by just removing the pumpkin and the little flower in the back. And we're going to add a miniature Christmas tree to the back of these trucks as well. These are packs of 8 little mini trees you can get from Dollar Tree at Christmas time. They seem to last and last since there's 8 of them in there, or if you have 8 ornaments to make, you only have to buy 1 pack, so they do go pretty far. And I do recommend removing the wood base of the tree to make it easier to put in the back of your truck. And this is just a fun little piece that you can add to a Christmas tree, on your Christmas cards, or on the tops of your Christmas gifts. Now I have some Christmas movie inspired DIYs for you. This is a clear ornament. You can get these at Christmas time. I did go ahead and cut some vinyl decals. I purchased this SVG file from a Etsy shop, and I'll link that down below. and I cut them out to size to fit on the front of my ornament. So I had some red, green, and black vinyl. Of course, if you hadn't guessed yet, we are making an Elf movie themed ornament. So I'm just adding some transfer tape on the top of my decal that I have weeded out. And here's a little tip. If you add your ornament to the top of a roll of ribbon, it has that little spot in there that it kind of makes it steady so you can add your decals onto your ornaments. So you just kind of rub the decals on there one at a time, since we have different colors, and kind of merge them and combine them so that it has that cute elf saying. So you can leave your ornament like this, or we can add a fun element to the inside, little cotton balls. These are a little bit too big to fit into the smaller clear ornaments, but if you break them in half and kind of roll them back up into balls, they fit right down into the little hole in the top. Just doing that until the inside of our ornament is full. Then, keeping with the elf themed color scheme, we're adding some green, yellow, and red ribbon to the top to add some accent. This is definitely one of my favorite Christmas movies, but I would love to hear what your favorite Christmas movie is down in the comments below. And here's another elf movie themed craft. You can find white mugs at Dollar Tree and add whatever you want onto them with vinyl. I'm gonna use another SVG file from that kit that I bought, or from the set that I bought from Etsy. So again, I'll link that down below. This one looks like a Starbucks logo, so it just screamed that it needed to go onto a mug. And I love that Dollar Tree has really inexpensive ones. You can also find them for only about $1 at Walmart too, if your Dollar Tree doesn't carry them. Again, I'm just adding these one layer at a time, and how cute is that? The world's best cup of coffee. Next up, I have a couple projects from the Charlie Brown Christmas movie. So first, we're gonna make the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. These are some paster sticks. These are super inexpensive. I get them from Amazon, and I'll link them down below. I'm gonna cut them down a little bit though, because they're 12 inches long. So I'm cutting about 4 inches off of each one to make them smaller. Using my handsaw and miter box, I'll link that down below too. You can find those at Walmart for only about 10 bucks. Super great thing to keep in your craft stash. I did drill a hole in the center because we're going to insert this little greenery piece, and then hot glued the pieces together. So this little piece is from Hobby Lobby. It had a loop at the bottom, so I cut that loop off, and then we're going to hot glue that down into the center of our tree holder. So of course we want this to look like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, so we're gonna kind of spread out the branches so it looks a little bit bare, and then bend it over at the top so we can add our ornament here in just a little bit. Even one of the branches came off, so I just went with it and made it look a little bit less sparse, or a little more sparse, I should say. And then we're gonna use our hot glue to attach the base into the wood. Just kind of set it down in there and let it dry. Hold it there until the glue hardens. Then this is just a Dollar Tree Christmas ornament that I wired onto the end of this tree. Now we can't forget the blue blanket that goes around the base. So this is some felt that I also got from Hobby Lobby, just in the fabric section so I could get a longer piece, and then wrapped it around the bottom, cut it down to size, and it was all we needed to do to create our own inexpensive and easy Charlie Brown tree. You can also find light bulbs at Dollar Tree year-round. Grabbed one of those, and we're gonna make a Snoopy ornament. So we need to make his ears first. We're using some regular black felt, cut it down to the exact same height as the light bulb, folded it in half so I could cut 2 ears at the same time, just kind of making a rounded off teardrop shape with a flat end, and then hot gluing that onto the sides where there is metal. We're gonna give Snoopy a Santa hat. So this is a t-shirt from Dollar Tree. So it was red, worked great for fabric. So I cut it into a triangle, hot glued that around the metal, and then hot glued up the back side to make that cone shape. And then we're also going to hot glue this off to the side so it doesn't stick straight up. But we also need to add some more accessories. So to cover up that raw edge of the t-shirt, just using some regular green ribbon and then hot gluing down the tip of the hat. We're gonna add a little pom-pom to the end to cover that up, and then using a paint pen, adding his face. I am a big giant Grinch fan. I love all of the movies. We did a big Grinch theme inside and outside last year. You'll have to go over to my Instagram to see pictures from all of that. So I always try to incorporate some new Grinch items every year. This one's a super easy ornament that you can make using Dollar Tree clear ornaments and some pom-poms. You can also find these pom-poms at Dollar Tree during Christmas time as well, just filling it up with a bunch of green ones. They don't even all have to be the same color. That gives it more interest. And then we're using some red paint to paint on a heart. You could add some vinyl if you wanted to do a more perfect looking heart. I really liked the paint technique so it doesn't look too perfect. We're adding some red ribbon onto the top as well so you can hang it from your Christmas tree. Making our Christmas memories. This is great for all of you Rudolph lovers out there. We're gonna make a garland with some brown cardstock. We're gonna make the whole reindeer crew, just cutting out some small triangles from this cardstock. But this is my favorite holiday. It's a chance to start over new. You're gonna need 9 triangles total for all of our reindeer friends. And now to give them faces. We're gonna use some wiggly eyes, just attaching them on with some regular glue from a glue stick. You can also find those at Dollar Tree as well. I love that they have so many great crafting items now. Our Rudolph, of course, is going to get a red pom-pom nose, and the rest of them will get brown pom-pom noses. To attach these, we're going to use some miniature clothespins. You can find these at Dollar Tree too. This is what not just attaches them, but also gives them their reindeer antlers. Now, shower curtain rings may seem like a pretty unique item to grab from Dollar Tree for Christmas crafting, but they make some great projects. I'm going to show you a couple of them here. First up, we're gonna make some ornaments, and we're gonna spray paint these rings with some matte black spray paint first. You can use whatever color that you want. I'm using chalkboard because that's what I had on hand, but it has a really nice matte finish, so I like to use that for my matte black finishes. And we're gonna use some of the sheet music. It comes in the mail once a year here, and so I always save it for crafting, but you can also Google it and print some out on regular paper if you want. We're gonna trace the outside edge of a ring onto the sheet music and just cut out little sections. I do like to pay attention to what music or what words I am cutting out so that it looks cute once I frame it and I glue it on to the shower curtain ring. We're gonna cover up that top section with some greenery and also a small little red bow. And then you can also use that same ribbon to make a little loop and glue onto the back so you can hang these on your tree. Making our Christmas memories. Yes, these are the good times with you. Don't even care what we do if we're spending Another idea with these shower curtain rings is just wrapping some of this wire greenery around them. You can find this at Walmart. You can find this in the craft or the floral section at craft stores like Hobby Lobby and Michael's. I really love it because it's great for springtime and it's also great for Christmas time too. So basically what we did here is we just wrapped it around, covered it completely, and now we have a miniature wreath. So to decorate that up, I'm gonna tie a little bow to add onto the front of this. And then this is a cute little accessory that you can add onto the tops of your Christmas gifts, on Christmas cards, and you can use these for ornaments too.
On this cold December day, we are on our merry way, riding along, just singing a song. Through the snow.
Next, let's make a really beautiful high-end looking stocking holder. So Dollar Tree has these great wood boxes. I love the metal labels on the front. And we're gonna turn this box into a stocking holder. We're gonna flip it upside down though, and there's always a sticker on the bottom. So you'll have to remove that and then take some Goo Gone to it to get any of that adhesive off. You can find these coat hooks at Walmart really inexpensively, or you could use these screw-in style cup hooks. I'll link both of them down in the description box below to make it easy for you to find. We're gonna mark where the holes are, and we're going to take scissors. I have these really pointy scissors that I like to use to create simple pilot holes. It makes it so much easier if you're gonna hand screw in the screws, which is what I am doing here. This is another little clip sign you can find at Dollar Tree. Add a little photo onto the front so each member of the family has their own stocking holder. I love this. It was so quick and easy, but it looks so beautiful and high end. This is another project you could use for different times of the year, just switching out the words and also the ribbon. These are LED pillar candles you can get from Dollar Tree. I love them. However, test them at the store and make sure they work before you bring them home because some of them can be duds. We're gonna wrap each one of these candles in some thick ribbon. Mine is from Hobby Lobby. Again, I always wait till it goes 50% off before I buy any of their ribbon. We're gonna use some hot glue to attach it onto the wax of the candle, and then the second end, we're gonna add some hot glue to that end and attach that onto the ribbon itself to make sure it stays in place.
This cold December day, on this cold December day.
So this candle is already looking nice and Christmassy. We're gonna go ahead and do that to all three of the candles, and then to really dress them up, we're gonna take some of these stickers. They are poster stickers and you can find them over by the poster board, and we're gonna add the word joy, so J-O-Y, one sticker on each one of the candles. So depending on the word that you wanna spell, you can add more candles if you'd like, and change them out for the different holidays and seasons so you can reuse your candles. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us here every week for new ideas for the holiday season. You can also let me know which one of these projects was your favorite down in the comments below. And I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I will see you in the next one. Have a very happy holiday.